Back here in Toronto, where the Devils fall by a score of 4-0, the Devils shut out for the fourth time this season as the Maple Leafs come up with their 18th win of the year. Now 18-15-6, good for 42 points. The Devils 20-17-2. They have 42 points, and 42 points seems to be a pretty popular number in the standings. 42 points for Toronto, 42 for the Devils, 42 for Boston. And then just ahead, 43 Rangers, 43 Pittsburgh, and 44 Buffalo. Pittsburgh with the win tonight, moving up to 43 points, and 44 for Florida. So it's crazy how close it is, but again, Devils struggling and needing to find a way.
And, if I was a coach, I might say to the players, here's the only answer I want. Because, why aren't you scoring? Why aren't you going? Because there was no answer. Say, I don't know. We're not getting puck luck. Leave it at that. Do not go on and on about this and that because, Matty, it is just puck luck. Okay, you could say, we got to shoot more accurate, but the questions of why, where no one has the answer, if I was a coach, I'd just say, just one word or two words. Because to go into a long, monologue about why we're not scoring, I don't know.
Well, we will see what the Devils say from the dressing room. Amanda Stein is here from our content team, and she will report back with a few interviews with the Devils as we will hear what they have to say as those interviews become available. But as we check out the highlights, the Devils did outshoot Toronto 33-30. They had chances early. Dawson Mercer hasn't scored now in 14 games. He heard a sound he doesn't want to hear too often. Here's a chance for Mercer. Rings one off the post. Almost coming up with that Newfoundland goal, which was a reference to one of the former players for Toronto who was honored before tonight's game, or was memorialized. He had passed away during the year. The Toronto Maple Leafs mentioned 10 former Leafs who passed away, and one of them was from Newfoundland, the guy you knew.
Yeah. Alex Faulkner, and I thought, well, maybe that will bring a goal out of Dawson Mercer, because he's from there too. But, Dawson, I remember he had one good chance, and, but nobody did I think looked really, really like, I'm taking this puck and I'm scoring. And obviously no one did they?
No, they did not. Andre Palat did his best, I think, to try to make that a different story. Here's Pesce to the blue line for Luke. Now to his brother Jack. He moves in deep. Centers and a stop made by Woll. Oh, baby, you can't set up Andre Palat better than that, but Woll with the save. And I'm not saying that Palat didn't give it his best, but he would have liked to have lifted that a little higher, right?
Yeah, well, that's the accuracy you're talking about. When you say, why don't you score? For me, I'd say, well, let's go to each one of the best chances. Let's take the 5 or 6 best chances we had, and let's see what really happened. Then you might know, but generally, Jesper Bratt, you were saying it, we're talking today, and Matt says, let's feature him in the top of the show, which I thought was good because he had scored 2 goals. He'll have confidence. Let's hope it spreads to other players. So it made a lot of sense that, he's feeling pretty good. He gets some chances, but he can't put it in either.
He had 4 shots on goal, tying Nico Hischier for the team high, and so it was scoreless in the first until the Devils took a penalty at 12:40. Stefan Nason for a trip along the near side wall. The power play under Steve Sullivan now, the former Devil, who has taken over the reins of the power play for Toronto. Mark Savard fired in the last week to 10 days. At any rate, Toronto scores with the man advantage. Devils look to clear. They can't. Robertson traps it. Now McMahon with a chance. He scores. So Bobby McMahon, who you like and you talked about earlier, scores his 12th of the season. Nick Robertson, the assist at 14:21. It's 1-0 Toronto.
Yeah, Bobby McMahon, I just saw that he's been hot, and he's got a history of scoring goals. And, that was just a bad break. Turnover, he gets it. Poor Brendan Dillon's going to go out and try to block it because that's the desperation move you want. But he also screens Markstrom, and the puck just goes by Dillon's arm. And then, unfortunately, just went by the blocker of Markstrom.
And so Toronto had a 1-0 lead. Devils tried to get back into it before the period came to an end. A long, rough night offensively for the Devils captain. Devils trail 1-0 on the McMahon power play goal. Here's a takeaway by the Devils. Heischer gets it to Meyer in the right wing corner. He stood up now, gets it to Heischer. Tries to cut in front, backhand save made. It's loose. Oh, they call a whistle. They blow a whistle. There's going to be a penalty. And it was a penalty on John Tavares, but an opportunity for Nico Heischer once again, but no.
No, I mean, what can you say? Nico's shooting them frequently, probably not as accurately as he'd like, but nothing to show for it.
Second period action, Devils trailing 1-0. Dougie Hamilton trying to get involved in the offense. By Siegenthaler into the Leaf zone, grabbed by Myers, and he'll flip it in. Taken now by Mercer, works it off the wall. Timo Meyer gives it off Hamilton. Big blast save made by Wolke. Way out to challenge. Like to see more of that from Dougie, who's stuck on 8 points this season.
See, Matt, that's what I'm talking about. How could you explain that? Just by some crazy, fluky, bouncy, pucky, you'd think he'd get something, but he hasn't gotten anything recently.
No, he hasn't. 16 games now without a point for Dougie Hamilton. It remained 1-0 until a penalty was called at 12:23 on Arseny Gritsuk for a slash. It was winding down. In fact, Gritsuk had just stepped out of the penalty box when this became a 2-0 game. Here's Robertson off the draw. Wrist shot off his stick. It's loose in front. Waugh misses a chance on a bouncer, and then McMahon sends it over the crossbar. Here's Robertson in front for a redirect. It's a double redirect, and they score. That's puck luck.
The double redirect. It is. And if Gritsuk had gotten back in the play, he would have prevented that because he would have been over there. But no.
Yeah, Robertson with a pass to McMahon, who tried to tip it home. He tipped it to Waugh, who did tip it home.
On the back door.
It was a tip goal at 14:24. Not quite, not an official power play goal, but close enough. So it was 2-0. Toronto in front. More opportunities for the Devils, more saves by the Wall from Missouri. Now Neeson drops it to Luke at the blue line. For Jack. Looks around, gives it to Luke. Cross ice it goes. Pratt with it. Wrist went down low for Heischer. It comes free. Here's Pratt with a shot. Save the rebound. Another save by Woll as he stopped Heischer, and the puck is cleared. Later on, Heischer was stopped again by Woll. We go into the third period. The Devils trailing by 2. Heischer tried to get things ignited as he went toe-to-toe with Matthew Knies.
Knives and Heischer are going at it. They want this is off the face-off. They want their position established. Here they go.
Oh, they're going to fight. It's Heischer and Knies. They drop the gloves. Knies with a couple of lefts. Heischer goes down. He gets back up on his skates. They both go down again as the linesmen come over. And that was a quick dust-up. It was, and I give the captain credit. Knies, who's not a fighter either, but he's a bigger man, and he sure felt he had to just do something, and you'd hope that would spark the team, but unfortunately it did not, did it?
No, and you're going to tell us exactly
Well, I'll tell
why.
you why. First off, that fight was the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner, because on a very strange play, 13 seconds after Knies and Heischer went to the penalty box for fighting, Calle Jarnkrok, and it took until about the 9th replay and the third time we looked at those 9 replays before you were able to spy it. It was a shot that deflected off of Jonas Siegenthaler.
And it was a knuckler. He didn't catch it all. It was flipping. It was going up, so Markstrom goes up with his glove, but it hits the elbow or the arm of Siegenthaler. And then, folks, this is what's crazy. It went down and hit the ice, then bounced up again, Maddie, about 3 feet. Like, how does that happen? But when you're not getting the breaks, 4, they're going to go against you, and that was a big break against the Devils.
Made it 3-0, and to be fair, that Waugh goal was a bit of good fortune for Toronto with the double tip, and Jarnkrok, gets the break as the puck hits Siegenthaler on the way in.
No goalie would have stopped either of those, I'm telling you. Probably all three. And it's got to be tougher. We're talking about the frustration of Heacher. Those guys, that's got to be bad. But how about if you're Markstrom, where you're going into the game thinking, do I have to be flawless? Maybe I can give up one goal. Well, tonight he couldn't even give up one.
Yeah, no, we would have gone through 65 minutes. We'd probably be starting the shootout just about now in a scoreless game. His record falls to 9-9-1 with the loss tonight to Toronto. But once again, the number one star of this game, a man who stopped 33 of 33, was Joseph Woll. Puck out in front, backhand shot, saved by Woll on Timo Meier. And that was one of the last gasp efforts for the Devils. They did get a power play when Nyes was called for hook at 14-19. They pulled Markstrom 6-on-4 skating advantage, couldn't score. Toronto did score into an empty net. Not that empty net. It was when the penalty to Nyes was over because it was Nyes who scored. So his 11th into the empty net from Tavares and Waugh.
Well, when you're pulling your goal and your feet down, Matt, you think that's not desperation?
Desperation.
That's what it was.
And the Devils lose by a score of 4-0. After the game, Nico Hischier spoke with Amanda Stein.
Nico, how do you kind of describe what this team is going through right now? Because it's not just this game; it's a stretch here.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. You're not scoring goals. It's no secret, obviously. If you're not scoring goals, you can win hockey games, and it's probably too much in our head right now. Somehow we just gotta find to blend that out and eventually go in. But it's very, very frustrating right now.
How, is this maybe one of the most frustrated you've felt as a group, you think?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I think we never really were struggling for too long to not score goals. And, yeah, we're definitely going through a stretch where we're not scoring. And today again, we have chances and very good chances, and somehow they just don't go in. And sometimes, hard to explain what's wrong.
What do you maybe say to this group about where you guys are right now in the course of the season and what needs to happen going forward as the leader of this group?
We got to find the right mindset. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, some confidences are not very high, but you got to battle through that. There's other ways to win games, but you have to score goals. But we can't have that in our head going into a game. I think it's counterproductive. So we just have the we need to have the right mindset right now going through that stretch.
Do you think part of that also is just if the other team does get that first goal, do you sense something in the group just knowing that you guys haven't been able to?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Obviously, sometimes it happens. Like there's still lots of hockey left. I mean, we're still. I mean, at the end it's 4-0, but it was long 1-0, 2-0, and they got 2 power play goals, which hurt us. Obviously, we had some great chances in power play, didn't convert, and that's the game right there. And that's where we got to be better.
That moment with Matthew Nyes just sort of off of that face-off, at first it looked like he pushed you, and then the refs came over, and then did he just, what was that moment for you like?
It was just, it happens in the game. I think I was in that situation, he's asking me to go, and I don't really want to back down, so I said yes, and obviously tried to give the team a little spark there, and But that's kind of what my thought process was.
Thanks, Nico.
Nico Hischier involved in a fight with Matthew Nyes in the third period, his second career fighting major, and the only one previous, December 10th, 2021, against Nashville's Mikhail Granlund. And unfortunately, Järnkrok scores shortly thereafter. The numbers are pretty ugly. I'll just say 10 goals in the last 7 games. You're not going to win a lot of games that way.
Not unless you get
perfect goaltending.
Yeah, perfect goaltending. Exactly.
So my point is, you can talk about, we got to have the mindset. Listen, unless you're, Lucy, who approaches, her role with Charlie Brown, saying, I know this guy thinks he's going to kick this ball, but no, he's not. It's hard to be positive. Charlie Brown thinks he's going to kick that football, but no, Lucy keeps pulling it back. So I know until it happens, it won't happen, and I can feel the frustration. You could hear it in his voice.
till it happens, it won't happen. And I don't buy, though, that if they get scored on first, that then they get down. I don't buy that. But you know what is the second goal, to me, is the one that, Maddie, if the other team scores first, then they get a second, and you've had good chances. You think, why them and not us? And I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those unanswerable questions, truly. Let's see what Brendan Dillon does to shed light on the subject.
Dilly, we've been here quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. How do you kind of explain where this group is at right now, maybe mentally?
Probably, as you can imagine, not happy, frustrated. It just seems we're not able to capitalize on that chance or opportunity, and then in turn, certain bounces aren't going our way the other way. Markey had an incredible game tonight, gave us a chance. Frustrating against special teams, kind of gets them going and gives their team a little bit of life. We just got to realize it's not just gonna happen. We're gonna have to work our way out of it, and just earn a win to kind of get the snowball going in the right direction.
When you say work your way out of it, obviously you guys are working hard every day. You're working hard in these games, but what does that kind of mean? Like, what is that extra tilt you're talking about? Or is it just
I think,
flow of the game?
I mean, we all care. We're all pissed off. It's not just, we lost, all right, let's, pack up our gear and go. It's, I think whatever your role is on the team, when you look in the mirror, what did I do my job tonight? If you're a checker, check. If you're a shooter, shoot. If you're, a physical player, lead by that. If you're a, goal scorer, go to the dirty areas to get a rebound, get something go off you. I think all of us on this team, we've shown this year, we can win hockey games. We can play tight hockey games. But I think we've all just got to kind of simplify to what makes us successful individually, which in turn, will ultimately help the team.
Knowing as like a collective, like this team has had some trouble scoring recently, do you ever feel a sense that like when the other team does get that first goal, does something happen to your group at all? Like, I know you guys all believe in each other, but just given the track record over the last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, goals have been extremely hard to come by for our group. Lately, especially in the last, 10, 15 games, I think maybe that's a maturity thing for us. If they get up one, to not just all of a sudden panic and, turn pucks over or change the game plan. I think that's looking at the teams that have been kind of the top end of the league, the Floridas, the Carolinas. I mean, they don't change. They do the same thing for 60 minutes, up a goal, down a goal. I think that's something for our group. We just got to understand to get bounces, you got to earn them, you got to work for them, you got to earn power plays, make the other team defend to be able to, in turn take that hooking or whatever penalty and then ultimately make good on the power play. But we had some good looks tonight. They were snapping around. Just got to find that extra, get it across the goal line.
And then you have your captain who kind of steps up in a moment. You were just talking to him saying, he needed to do something, he needed to spark something. When you see someone like that who doesn't do that normally.
Unbelievable job. It's the reason why he's our leader. It's the reason why he's got a C on his jersey. I think that's on our group. The next shift is so important. The next shift is absolutely vital to, he does that against a much bigger guy. Stands up for himself, stands up for our group, for the Devils as a whole, and to let that, next shift again get even more momentum is really the most frustrating thing out of that whole sequence. But great for Nico, unbelievable job. A guy stepping outside of his comfort zone to again basically just do whatever it takes to try and win and try and get this thing going in the right direction.
Thank you, Dilly.
And hopefully that starts tomorrow against Columbus.
That's all. This one is done, Maddie. It's in the rear view mirror, and I would just say on Dylan's conversation, here's what the truth is. They maybe have to work a little harder to get chances, like he said, right? Dirty goals. But you know what else they got to do? They got some chances. they have got to shoot more accurately when they get the chances. Work hard to get the chances, but then there's a reason why some guys score. And I was saying to Maddie, I don't remember one top shelf shot that the goalies had to save tonight. And maybe it didn't set up that there was that kind of shot to be made. But the best chances I remember were about 2 feet high on the goalie, and that's where his pads are and his gloves. So anyway, it's easy for me to say, Maddie, but I just want to see us be a little more accurate with our rebound shooting.
That would help, and getting the puck up and over the glove and into the back of the net. Palat had a chance. Heischer had a chance. Brad had a chance. We can go on and on. It didn't happen. Before we say goodbye, let's hear what a very, I'm sure, frustrated Sheldon Keefe had to say about the game.
I'm just sort of curious what your message is to the team after a game like this. You could definitely see the emotions coming out in that third period. Had so many offensive opportunities. Just once again, the goals aren't going in.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't talk to the team after the game. Talked to them in the morning, but it's more of the same. We got to find ways to get some pucks to fall in for us. We got to execute better in the chances that we do get. I mean, we had some really clean looks and really good spots. We either missed the net or hit the goaltender in the chest. So that's kind of the way it's been going. And on the flip side, they get a couple power play goals, and they get the third goal. It's probably going 3 feet wide and hits off Siegs and goes in their own net. So it's just kind of the way it's going. So we got to keep working and find our way out of it. But it's no use in feeling sorry for ourselves. We played a fine enough game, but 2 on the penalty kill. Power play doesn't get it over the line, and nothing to show at 5-on-5 for the chances that we had and the puck time that we had. So you lose.
Well, Sheldon, just in a situation like this, it just seems like your team's really been being tested here. There being a lot of gut check in these moments. How important is it to see emotional moments from the guys and not get down on themselves? Like, Markey had a great game and he has a couple bad bounces going. So, when you talk to the guys tomorrow, just how important is that they just stay focused?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's no different than what we've been going through. And we kind of went through this, we went through this cycle before. Found our way back and won 4 out of 6. And then, now, this is 2 coming out of the break. And 2 in which you played good enough to win the games, quite honestly, but it's not going our way. So we gotta stay with it. We gotta keep the group positive. The group's got to keep believing, but the guys have also got to they got to work harder, they got to work smarter, and they got to finish their chances.
Talk about some of those moments. Obviously, when Nico drops the gloves there with Nyes, that's a big moment, even though you were down 3-0 at that point. Maybe a little bit disappointed with the response shift from your
Yeah, it's 2-0 at that point.
Sorry, 2-0,
but listen, I mean, do I want our captain and one of our best players fighting and when we're down 2-0 in the third period? Absolutely not. But do we need some guys to step up and show some emotion and show some balls and play with some urgency and competitiveness and step out of character? Yeah, we need more of that. So to that end, I like it. I like that Nico did it, and hopefully it rubs off on the rest of the group in a positive way. I didn't think that it did in that moment. But, you want to talk about gut checks. There's one of your captains out there taking on a big guy, stepping out of character. We'll see what we have with our group, but we need more guys that are going to show a little bit more. If you're not going to score, give us a little bit more competitively and physically and show that you're working to find your way. There's not enough of that. We're just kind of going about our business.
You talk about going about your business. Like, is it maybe disappointing is not the right word, but just like the shift after that, right? Like where Nico's in the box, you guys let up that goal, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, like I said, the guy shot it. It was going 3 feet wide. Yeah. It goes off of less than the net. But, I mean, yeah, we could have handled the breakout part of it better. But like I said, if it doesn't hit Siegs, it goes into the corner. And I don't know, maybe we break it out and maybe it goes down the other way and something good happens. Who knows? So you can overreact to situations like that. But just physically and competitively, I didn't think we met the moment, in response to our captain stepping up like that.
And that is Sheldon Keefe. And you don't have to read between the lines. A message has been sent.
From Sheldon, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and everybody, like, we got a pretty conscientious team. I've been around a lot of teams. These guys aren't floaters. They're not taking this lightly. They're not going to try. Like he says, they need more from all these guys. I think everybody thinks, I got to give more. But specifically, they got to score some goals. And that is getting chances and being accurate. I mean, like I say, Maddie, the fact that our one-timers, I would like us to see us say, listen, just get somebody over there. Let's have him shoot 5 one-timers. Just see what happens. Passing around and around, and then, if it's not a perfect pass, that you say simplifying. To me, that's what simplifying would be. Just get good blasts in good spots and somebody drive the net, and let's see what happens. But that's easier said than done, and we'll see. Tomorrow night, they played well in Columbus, so, Maddie, let's get on that plane, and folks, you guys have a good night's sleep, and let's be positive tomorrow night.
We're on to Columbus, and that game will be heard right here on the Devils Hockey Network.